You're.
Hello.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in, guys, to another episode of Do Not Disturb. Put your kitties to bed if you're going to bed. Roll up the windows if you're going to work. If you're jogging, turn us up. Working out. Tune in and what?
Zone out.
All right. So, ladies, how you guys been? Keena, how you been, Keena?
Good.
What's up with you?
Just happy. It's
Oh my
enjoying
God.
life.
Enjoying life?
Yeah.
What y'all call that? You feeling good?
Yeah.
What about you, Mary?
It's Friday.
It's Friday, so we are lit.
It was a shaky day. I
Uh-oh.
received a lot of bad news for other people today. That it just makes you
That 2020?
Yeah, and it just makes you think and be grateful that you're here today, and that tomorrow isn't promised,
Yeah.
and nothing is that serious.
Yeah. Seriously. Any grudges that you have with people, just let that go. Even it doesn't mean that you have to rekindle your relationship, but just let it go. That burden.
Like you could just like whoever or whatever.
What's up with
Without all
you,
the extra stuff.
Yanni? You look like you up to something.
Well rested. I probably don't look like it, but I'm very well rested.
Your lashes are popping.
Oh, thank you.
Mm.
Just mascara.
What'd you say?
Just mascara, you know.
Oh, that's natural, is what she's saying.
That's what she was saying.
So this week we have I don't know, nothing has been going on with my life this week, so we can skip over that weekly recap. But when something is, what? Don't you dare. Nothing has happened.
She just had a regular week.
I always have regular weeks, but what we want to do this week is jump right into our main topic, and it's a little serious. I don't know if you want to like go too deep, but we do want to talk about a serious topic. We talk about relationships all the time and dating, but we want to delve into knowing when to walk away from certain relationships and situations. Like we can
Friendships,
we can pick
jobs,
it up, right? We
all
can pick
types.
it all and pick it
Family.
apart and say, family, relationship, jobs. We do want to focus on the relationships, but we do want to expand the topic as well. But when do you know that you've had enough? Like Mary said, 2020, let things go. But we can also look at it as let it go and walk away, start a new page or a chapter in your life when it comes to certain relationships, because that does weigh in on you. Like when you're carrying a lot of baggage or you're just genuinely not happy. When do you say, I have to put myself first and I have to walk away from certain situations? Because as we can see, every time we look at the news or we wake up, we see some disheartening news. It's a lot going on. And 2020 has definitely opened our eyes to make us realize that any baggage that we're carrying, let it go. Focus on ourselves first and focus on you. So we definitely wanted to spend this time to talk about when do you know it's time to walk away and start a new chapter in life? What circumstances make you draw the line and be like, that's it? Is it because it's different for everybody? Sometimes it's verbal abuse.
Right.
Some people can take verbal abuse. Some people, that's how their relationship flows for some strange reason.
And I feel like verbal abuse is worse than like physical abuse.
I feel like that. I mean, I feel like they're both, but I feel like that's bad too. You're not going to be calling me all types of
bad.
bitches.
If not worse, just as bad.
Right,
Yes.
right. You're not going to be calling me all types of bitches and think it's okay. Or when you get mad, call me a bitch or say,
Talk to me a certain
Humiliate
way.
me in
disrespect
you know what I'm
public.
saying?
embarrass
In
me,
public.
shaming me and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
It's
right.
just as bad. Just as bad.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's verbal abuse for some folks, and then some people draw the line at the physical abuse, and it's like,
It
okay,
shouldn't
you
be
can
either
call
one.
me all types of names, but as soon as
better
you
not
lift
put
your
hands
hand,
on me. No, don't
right?
do neither.
And just curious to know, like, what is some of you guys, or what do you guys think is the drawing point right there where I can't, once a guy does this, I have to walk away. And do you have a period of time where you can actually tolerate some things before you say enough is enough?
I'm patient. I'm a real patient person. Probably some will say I'm too patient, but I can't give myself a time. What I can say is, for me, my changing point, something got to give once I start to not recognize my own self when it comes to thoughts, physically, my actions, all types of stuff like that. And for me, when it's that deep, I'm going through it not just mentally or emotionally, like I'm going through it physically. So I start to see physical changes on my body and stuff like I don't like that. And then if my kids notice something different about me, or can come and ask me questions without them being around half the time that any of this is going on.
Because
any of the
children
time
are
that any of
very
this-
intuitive. They
Right,
know
for them to
when you
feel
change.
that from me and know something, that's a problem for me.
Have your
And I
children ever noticed this before? Like, you know,
Yeah.
something's off about you?
Yep, definitely.
And that's when you wake up and you say, you know what?
Yep.
So you've been in relationships where you've lost weight before or gained weight? Like, what's the physical
I've
changes?
lost, I've gained. When I'm going through it about something, I will lose weight because I start to stress, and it takes a toll on me because I'm giving everything, so it's taking a lot out of me when I'm stressing and I'm mentally going through some shit. So I start to lose weight.
I could definitely relate to that. I was once upon a time in a relationship where I was so devoted to being who I thought the person wanted me to be in order for everything to work, that my limits changed. There weren't many much boundaries, and you don't realize who you were while you were in this relationship until you walk away from it. And I literally, my response when the person wanted to try to work things out was plain and simple as, I didn't like who I became when I was with you. Because when you reflect and you look back at like, really,
That's not
like
me.
this is not me. It isn't. Your ambition, your drive, the things that you would have done, or certain things, even certain career moves that at one point I should have made, I didn't make because I was trying to make something else work. So I felt that if this worked, then everything else will flow naturally around it. And it didn't work that way. So for a relationship, I think that the limit I started setting the limit, from that moment on. When I see that I'm, even if I'm starting to feel like something that isn't me, something feels unnatural, something gives me anxiety, something makes me uncomfortable. That's when I choose to. It's easier for me now to walk away than it was before, back in the day, basically. But it took for me to really sit down and get to know myself and to know how these certain things affect me, because as a mother, it does affect how you feel about yourself and everything you're doing in your daily life. If you're not satisfied, it affects how you are your parenting. It does. It affects your relationship with your friends, with your family.
It's affecting you as a person.
Yeah, it is. So it definitely.
You can't roll out of bed and take your kid to the park because you're over here upset or depressed about whatever events happened early that day.
And these things could turn into depression, basically. So I think that the minute that you feel like you're no longer you, or outside of the, abuse and anything, just in general, you can be with someone and they don't have to be verbally abusing you in order to break you down. Someone can make you, because you could be a very strong woman, right? And if I can meet you where you're at, I'm going to break you down. I'm going to bring you down to the level where I'm at. And some people, that's how they maintain their relationships, and some people are okay with that. But personally, I feel that if we can uplift each other, then that's when you have to make the decision, whether it's the other parent, whether it's just, your husband, whether it's your boyfriend, whoever it is. I don't think that you should ever, it's non-negotiable. You should be non-negotiable.
Right. Of course, I can say we can all be in agreement that verbal abuse and physical abuse is not tolerated. But another big part for me is if my man can't be a man. That's a big turn off. And if I have to constantly keep reminding you about doing things, simple things that you should be doing as a man, like providing or pulling your weight, or if you keep making promises that you're going to change or do better, or, and it could be anything. It could be work related. It could be around the house.
Simple, whatever.
Simple. But if you keep making promises that you can't follow up on, and you're not providing, and I can't turn to you when I need to, that's a big breaking point.
Girl, it's as simple as this. Let me tell you this. One, me dating somebody, and for me to call my brother to tell him that I'm having a car
Right.
problem, he'll help me out. He'll do, he never says no. If you know my brother, he never says no. But realistically speaking, when I get there, it's like, where's your man?
Isn't
then
that
it's like,
embarrassing?
It
That's
is.
so
It
embarrassing.
is. Or for me
That's
to have to
embarrassing. How I
go
feel.
to another man and tell him, hey, can you help me figure this out with my car? What?
Right.
What? My bad.
For me to go to my
What
cousin
we
or
doing
my
this for?
brother, you already
Exactly.
know. Once I got pregnant, it was just a wrap because my cousin and my brother did everything for me. Once I got pregnant, it was like, where's your baby father?
Yeah.
And even now, like, even though he's out the picture, it's like, they know I'm out here fucking. So it's like,
Where you at?
like, I don't care if I'm at my bottom rock. I'm like, I can't even ask them.
Because you're too
And that's
embarrassed.
embarrassing. Like,
But
you
when
know,
They're
like,
right, though.
When you're embarrassed to do that, or
because even
that's
if
how
I'm
you
not fucking
know
somebody
too.
at the point, at like
Question
right at
like,
the second, it's just like, you don't have nobody to go to?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's embarrassing.
Let's say you want something else. I bet you get a bunch of response.
Right. Another thing, maybe, I mean, we can say what works for us and what doesn't, but you know what? That's what works for us.
Right.
What I've noticed and realized that is, even if you've experienced like a really close friend of yours going through hell, like pure hell, you can constantly tell them that, girl, you don't need to be, girl, leave
better than
his
that.
ass. Like, why?
Easier said than done.
Or just predict what's going to happen, and you can be like, see, sitting in the back, like, see, I told her ass. Or you can might be even fed up with your friend because you told her time and time and time again what to do, and she doesn't. But guess what? It's because she's not going to do it until she's ready. And I've noticed that's a big thing
Until
Everybody
that
has a
person
different
about
is ready.
walking
timeline.
away.
Yes.
Everybody has their
You
own
have to be ready.
timeline. You have to be
Their
ready.
own time.
You have to feel that.
I personally know someone that has a similar situation where they know they should walk away, and other people are encouraging them and telling them, and actually are upset at them that they haven't walked away. But at the end of the day, my personal response to that person has always been, you're going to walk away whenever you're ready to go, whenever you're ready. Because it could be a financial thing. It could be that if I walk away from this situation, can I financially provide for myself, the children, or whatever the situation is. Sometimes people are tied to certain people because of finances.
It's not just love. Yeah.
It's other things. Yeah. And
I hate when people use the kids, though.
yeah, of course.
And that's one thing that we can't even get between. We can't tell somebody to leave your baby father. Like, that's the hardest.
No.
Because even if things not going right, like, as women, we picture ourselves of being with our child father in the beginning at least. And we don't want to feel like we was the reason of why our family is broken because we walked away. Because usually it's the man who leave. So to know, like, oh, your mother left me. We don't want that. Like, that's the reason why most relationships work through all hard times, because of the mother. We accept shit. We settle. But
Yeah, you don't want that broken family.
we don't
That's the
want
main
it.
thing.
No
For
matter
some
how much
reason.
strong, independent woman, we really don't want it.
It's either I came from a home with two parents, I don't want to give my children anything other than that, or B,
I
didn't come from that, and I feel like my child deserves it.
Deserves
So
that.
either
Yeah,
way,
always an
yeah.
excuse. It's always an excuse.
But you have to
But
also
it's like
realize,
better early than late, because we
Right.
don't want it early, because later is like, I think the earlier the better.
if you're
Someone
in a
told me-
toxic relationship, if it's
It's
toxic,
toxic.
then let it go because you don't want the children to be involved
Right.
and witness that.
Someone told me that my son will love me for loving me 1st. And that's literally what it's like. Well, you know what? That's true. And I promise you, that kid does not miss a beat with anything. We're great co-parents. There's nothing wrong there, just an FYI. It was just we're better apart as being parents than together.
Right.
And you choose
And that's
if you make it
mature.
work. Yeah, it is. It took a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. She can tell
Oh,
you
yeah.
a whole lot of work, but it takes a lot of understanding and a lot of flexibility. But I'm not
Oh, as the kids get older,
confrontational.
then they get verbal and they see what's going on.
Yeah.
It has to
Children
get better.
know.
It has
They
to get
feel
better.
it. They know. They sense it. Once I started realizing that in my past relationship, I was going through a pattern. I would be able to actually know, like I would feel it. Like I could be coming home from the grocery store and going in the door like, damn, we ain't have a fight in 10 days. It's about that time for a big old blow up. Then it'll be a big old blow up.
And that's the problem.
And then I'll know it's a pattern.
Yes.
It's always a pattern. And it's like, do you really want to put yourself through that
Every
forever?
single time.
And I just feel like we were just too young at the time. And like, you know, for those that you'll hear more of the episodes, you'll know more about each and every one of us. But I was married, now divorced. But I just feel like I married too young, and we'll delve into that later, about topics about, you know, is it too young? Is there age limit? You know, marrying your first love, or, you know, high school sweetheart. It wasn't my case, but I'm just saying, like,
very in general.
you know,
We'll
just
talk about
in
different
general.
stuff.
And I just felt like we're really too young. So I had to make that decision, like, who I was at 24, 26 when I got married. Who I was at 26 is not who I am now. Like, that's
We're
all
not
true.
compatible with the
That's
same
true.
people.
Right. I'm
We're
a
different
totally
people.
different person. You're different. I'm different. You're growing up to try to be a man and to learn how to be a husband when you should have been had that groundwork already before you got married, not learning into the process.
Can't build a man.
So it was just a lot for me to be like, look, you made that step. You walked in the aisle. You made vows in front of your friends, in front of your family. Will it be embarrassing for you to just say, you know what, this can't work and walk away? Will people say you didn't try hard enough? Because I was getting all of that. People saying you ain't try, you ain't do this, you ain't do that. From the outside,
Everybody
But
always
then,
know.
everybody
Everybody
has
like
an opinion.
something.
Because we
Yes.
don't share
we don't share.
what's going on in the house, especially when you marry. So I
You
understood.
got to think about yourself. And I was gaining weight and I was depressed and I looked older then than I do now. And like, you know, now that I'm on outside looking in, it's just like, you weren't taking care of yourself. You were
Yes.
putting everybody else
You
first.
could
And at
feel
the
it.
time, my mom was alive and she was very sickly. And the major thing with me was I knew that I had to walk away because it wasn't healthy, because it was always up and down, up and down, up and down. And I'm not faulting anyone. We were too young, like I
Right.
said, to be doing that. But I had to hide and put on the
Brave face.
brave face,
Put that
put on
mask
the
on,
mask.
like we do many a times.
because my mom was sick,
Yeah.
and I didn't want her to know.
Worrying about that on top of what she got going on.
exactly. So I didn't want her knowing. So I would pretend like I was okay and things were
course.
going good and everything was peachy clean and
Holding
perfect
all of that
and everything
inside.
because of that. So that's another thing that we do a lot too. We put on his face, and we do that so much as
Yes.
these strong women.
become
We do it
normalized.
so much. We be so strong. We put on his face like I'm
We
so
normalize
good.
I'm telling you, it's become
Yes.
normalized.
Like we can handle it all. At the end of the day, I was going home. I was crying. I was fed up. I had to go grocery shopping for my house, my mama's house. I had to take care of her, go to work and call her throughout the day. Make sure she all right. Make sure she in ICU. Make sure she ain't dead. And oh, she came back again. I'm dealing with that. And then where's my husband? Is my
Yes.
husband okay? Did he pick up then come home and wash clothes and cook and clean? It was too much for a 20
On
something
top
year
of how
old
you
woman.
feeling, don't even have the time to just sit down and just really
You
just
don't
care for
feel
you.
nothing. You're not
worry about
allowed to
you.
think about you.
Because you don't get a
become a
chance to.
robot
Right.
because she's
A
trying to be a
robot.
wife. Yeah, wife.
And then once she passed, I reached my breaking point when I was sitting at the kitchen table picking out caskets for my mother by myself. By myself. That's when I reached the breaking point. Like, I'm
After
sitting
all
here
this,
at a
yes.
point of my life like this. And I should have
being the
never
only
been
child,
alone.
yeah.
Especially
All of that was on me.
America,
Should've-
yes.
And my phone ringing. You know
You're
who
speaking to my soul right now. You know that.
I
right?
know you are. I know I am. And my phone rang. And you know who called me? My father. My father, who was with my mother for 16 something years, called me and was like, who are you with? I'm on my way. Dropped everything and came to sit by me while I picked up my
You
mother's
know why?
casket.
Because that's a man and a man that loves you.
That's why I woke up. And that's why I woke up. Because here I have everything in front of me, how a man should be taking care of me. And from that day on, I did not look back. I was judged. I was ridiculed. I was
and
everything. Everybody was in my business. What happened?
of course, just being nosy, not
All
even
types of
genuinely caring.
assumptions going on
Right.
about
All
me.
types.
Regular.
Oh yeah.
But guess what?
Let 'em
I
talk.
felt so much better. I felt
That's when
so free.
Yep. Yep.
So
like a
that's
whole
why
new
I say
person.
you know you'll have that breaking point, that wake up moment in your life, and you feel like you're ready to walk away, and nobody could take that from you or make that decision for you at all.
That's that's the thing for me. Feeling like that. You with somebody and you feel so alone like
Right.
that. Like you made me feel like I had nobody when you supposed to been that one. Out of everybody that I should have been able to talk to, turn to, anything I needed, I should have been there. Like, you should have been right there.
Now let's say something like that happened, right? Mm-hmm. Can you guys see yourself coming back? Can a person reel themselves back in?
I tried it. Very similar situation, and I tried it. But when my father passed, the person I was with, they didn't show up to the funeral. And it's not something I noticed at that moment because I was so consumed with everything.
Everybody
my
else
feelings.
judging and paying attention.
And everybody else judging, paying attention. Everybody made sure they brought it to my attention. And it wasn't because what other people said. It was because what I needed. I felt like I needed you. I felt like I deserved for you to be there. And you weren't. So before this, we were already shaky. Then that happened. And it showed me how alone I am. So why am I putting your weight on me in every issue that you have? Because I'm there to hold you down through everything. And all I needed was from you just to be present. It doesn't cost money. It doesn't cost nothing. Just your time and your presence. Right. Yep. Not even a word. Silence would have been okay. And that situation after that, it made me hard. It made me selfish. From that moment on, I didn't give a fuck how you felt about anything. And I saw you cry. I saw you feel a lot of emotions. But I'm like, when I was feeling things that were non-related to you, non-related to me, you didn't care. And even if you did, and whatever the person told me they had their personal reasons for not wanting to enter a funeral home, I felt like it was wrong because it wasn't about you. It wasn't about you.
It wasn't about you.
I would have done anything for you. And I felt like that should have been your moment to show me.
So it was lopsided for you.
Yeah.
You will always put yourself first and do everything for other people. But once you realize that, you don't get that same in return.
And this cost you nothing. So then it was dead. And so we tried it again. Not right then and there. Don't get me wrong. I dated other people, whatever. But when we revisit, it's never been the same. The energy is never the same because now you don't get the same me. You get a new me.
Right.
And the new me has a different type of awareness. And you may not like this awareness because this awareness you can't control. So now I'm more defined in who I am. It makes a difference. And everybody is not ready for the new you. You were okay with the old me, but you're not ready for the new me.
Right.
Yes. It definitely shapes you. You have new standards for the next person. I feel bad for these I feel so bad. I mean, because I'm just I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. This is what I want. This is what I require. I've been through enough. If you ain't come already perfect and packaged.
Oh gosh.
I feel bad, but I'm sorry.
The passing of my father.
No, my mouth is definitely more slick. Definitely.
Also played a part in me walking away from a job. Because it wasn't only walking away from a relationship, it also played a big part in me walking away from a job. This job that I had, it was a pretty good job. They were relocating to another state. My son was basically 2 years old. I got the job offer. They decided to move their transfer from a year to 6 months. It happened really fast. So then when I told my mom, hey, I have the opportunity to move to Tennessee. I have a great job opportunity, salary, the relocation, everything that they were offering basically in the package for me to do this. But it's me and my son, 2-year-old son. My mother said no. She was like, your father's ill. And I'm, you know how basically my parents are something always wrong. And I'm like, he's not going nowhere. He's going to be alive forever. That was my, mentality. And basically I thought it was just for her not wanting me to go away. Then she told me, you go away. Remember, you get sick. Anything happens. Who's going to help you with, with your son? And I'm like, I have friends. She was like, no, those are your coworkers. Those are not your friends. So I'm like, oh, true. And, it basically, she told me if you had a partner and you and your partner were making the move together, that would have been okay. At that moment, I was willing to settle to go back to who I was with in order to make the move. But it wasn't the right move because realistically speaking, if I can count on you here, I definitely can count on you over there.
Oh, God.
But
Imagine that?
I was willing to take a leap of faith, right? At the end of the day, I listened to what my mom said. I chose not to go, and the company moved. And within a month of them moving, that's when my father became terminally ill. And I was it was a blessing in disguise. Yes. At first, I wasn't sure. I'm like, what am I going to do financially? You think about, I need to provide, I need to do this, I need to do that, because as independent women, that's what we do, right? And I was actually grateful that I did not sign a contract to move because I would have been bind to a contract. And I would have been signed to the contract for a year, and basically this happened. I would have had to come back to New Jersey.
Yes.
I would have to walk away from the job, this big opportunity that I thought would have been a huge, something that would have, it was a career move.
Right.
And I chose not to. And at first I felt like it was very selfish of my parents, but I'm like, I was so grateful that I didn't go because it gave me the opportunity to spend time with my family, right?
Yeah.
We get so consumed with working and taking care of a bunch of other things that you neglect your
Outside life
family.
is-
Yeah, and it forced me to be there, forced me to be there for him. So I had to walk away from a job opportunity because my family needed me more than that career move would have done for me.
Yeah, family first. Yeah.
You
Definitely
can't-
parents, ooh.
Every money is not meant for you to make.
That's right.
No.
It would have cost me more. Rejecting that job gave me peace.
And
You
that's
didn't feel like
priceless.
you made the wrong decision.
Not at all. Being unemployed for those months made me, gave me the ability to care for him, to be there for him in more ways than I
Time you
probably
can't get back, yeah.
You can't. And then we end up going to DR, and then while my mother was over there, we buried him over there. The time that she needed to spend over there, I was the only one of her children that was not working, so I was able to stay there throughout her time. Whenever she was ready, when she was ready to come back, that's when we came back. If that didn't happen with that company, because I've been working for forever, I've been working since high school, I would have never, that was the first time I probably actually took a break. And that was my 6-month break.
Like everything happens.
It
for a
does.
reason.
And I promise you, I got that unemployment check, right? They told me this is your last check. What happened then? I got a call from a job. And what happened? That's an even bigger career move than the one I was going to do. So all glory to
Everything
God.
happened for a reason. Yeah.
Everything happened for a reason. But can I ask you something? Mm-hmm. Are there any Dominicans in Tennessee?
Actually, yes, because I know people that have gone there, but
I'm
you
just
can
curious.
count them in probably in one hand. Yeah, you could probably, I will stand out.
How'd they get there?
I have no idea. I've never been to Tennessee. I didn't take the job, but I know people that have gone. Like, yeah, there's a few. You could probably count them.
They probably still live in the same house.
Ariel be in the music videos, country videos. I don't know, no Dominicans. If you're Dominican and you're in Tennessee, email us.
Like and follow.
Like and follow us first. Hit us up. Drop a comment. Email us. We're curious. We want to know, like, what's life like in Tennessee being Dominican? But
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get all sad, but that was just like.
No, that was well said.
my boobs are popping out.
I felt you.
So make sure you guys look at that video when it drops. Yeah, let me put my arm like this. They're popping out and
Blooper.
yeah, we don't want
I had to throw one of those sensor, one of those sensor things, bro.
Y'all want a show? I'll show you a show. But no, but just to wrap it up, want to recap. You want to recap? You didn't share. You didn't share too much about when's your biggest breaking point to know to tie it all
My
together.
child is involved. Yeah.
So your child is your number one thing. And if your child isn't happy, but your child doesn't like anybody, so what's gonna happen?
Well, shit, her father too. It's the hustle in the man and not providing. That's
You have
what
to
it
be
is
able to
for me.
provide for you and your child.
And even you trying to come around and you're not trying to do nothing.
He has to drag his weight. What if he's coming in unemployed and he's saying that?
Well, he won't be with me if he unemployed.
Well, okay.
You better go out on.
She's always ending like this.
Okay.
Like,
Let's
go
not
in the
confuse
trap- in
it.
the
She
trap
is a
room.
hardworking woman that does everything for
Which is why she
herself
feel
and
like
has been
that.
doing it for very long. So it's okay to be selfish. It's just, her choice of words make it seem like, no, it's just that.
Because
Like, damn, she mean
took
as
a lot
hell.
of-
I
I
ain't-
took a lot of slack from a lot of men.
Yeah.
Like a lot, like for years. I think like the past 2 years, I just probably started speaking up and just be like, okay, so. And
I
they be
just-
like,
So
where
can't
this
wait,
come
so
from?
can't nobody
There's
be like-
some people putting stuff in my ear and all that, but it's just like I'm fed up. I'm like, I'm getting older. My bills are growing. Like,
So ain't nobody 40 trying to still rap about to be able to.
nah.
It's over. It's done.
you
No,
already
it's
have
just-
to
Yeah, so it's just me
come
growing
with
up.
ambition,
Yeah, that's just
goals.
what
Bring
it is.
something to the table.
That's it.
drag their weight.
I'm correct.
It's not
That's
hard.
just it.
It's not hard. But if you guys
I
have
really
any
took a lot.
questions about whatever we stated and want us to delve into more detail about any particular comment that we made or reference or
If you got
example,
something to say, opinion.
you know the page.
You know.
Do not disturb _podcast. That's our Instagram page. And our email, we have to start pushing our emails because we want to hear from you guys. Okay. It's podcast do not disturb @gmail.com. And please, next week, tune in and what?
Zone out.